Okay, so now we are looking at the exercises at the end of section 4.2. So in the first one, we are asked to show that the definition of equality of two rational numbers is an equivalence relation, that it's reflexive, symmetric and transitive. So since we would need three rational numbers to show transitivity, so we begin by considering three rational numbers. Let x equal to a by b, y equal to c by d, and z equal to e by f be rational numbers where a, b, c, d, e, f, these are all integers, and b, d and f are non-zero. Okay, so first we try to show that the relation is reflexive. For that, note that okay, this may look a bit stupid, but it is what it is. X is equal to a by b. This is equal to again a by b. This is equal to x. Because for these two rational numbers to be equal, if we really apply the definition, do we get equality? That's the point. AB is equal to AB. Yes. And that's why these two rational numbers are equal, which also look the same, and that is nothing but x. So equality is reflexive. We just simply write equality. In this context, equality means equality of two rational numbers. Next, assume that x is equal to y. Then a by b is equal to c by d, and hence now on this one you apply the definition of equality, or from this equality we should have AD is equal to CB. Okay, this implies this equation can also be written like this: CB is equal to AD, and so y is equal to C by D, that is equal to A by B, that is x, because here we need CB is equal to AD. Hence equality is symmetric. Next, we have to prove transitivity. Finally, assume that x is equal to y and y is equal to z. Then a by b should be equal to c by d, and c by d should be equal to e by f. That is, AD should be equal to CB and CF should be equal to ED. Okay, Now from this we have to somehow conclude that x is equal to z. Okay, so for that, now there two cases arise actually. If c is equal to 0, then what do we get from these two equations? Then AD is equal to 0 and that is also equal to ED. Since D is non-zero, D is non-zero, from here we already have that. So A must be equal to 0 and E also must be equal to 0 because the integers lack 0 divisors. In fact, the specific result is corollary 419. We have A equal to 0 equal to E from corollary 419. So in this case, x is A by B, that is equal to 0, because if A is, we have already seen this, that a rational number is 0 if and only if the first component integer is 0. I am trying not to call it the numerator because there is no the numerator. Okay, so this is equal to 0 and that is also equal to E by F, which is equal to Z. So in this case we have x equal to Z, and that's what we want from to show transitivity. Now next, assume that C is not equal to 0. We have already seen the case where C is 0. Now we have to consider the case where C is non-zero. Then, okay, so we have these two equations to work with. What we do is this: ACF. Say we try to calculate ACF. From the second equation we have AED, because in place of CF we can write ED. Now this can be written as E times AD, and in place of AD now we can write CB, so ECB, or C times AF is equal to C times EB. Okay, since C is not equal to, okay, I think this corollary 419 that I am writing here, because D is non-zero, although it's a consequence of the fact that the integers have no 0 divisors, but it's actually the cancellation law. That's why it's the corollary, it's not the actual result. It's a consequence of the fact that the integers lack 0 divisors. So since C is not equal to 0, again here we can use this corollary 419. Okay, today I am going to rub it less, so that way it won't get smeared. Since C is non-zero, corollary 419 implies AF is equal to EB. Thus X, which is A by B, is equal to E by F, which is Z. And for this equality we need AF equal to EB, so that's what we have. So equality is transitive, and this completes the solution. Then the second one, prove the remaining components of lemma 423. So in this lemma, okay, so this is the one where we had to prove that addition, multiplication and negation, these three operations are well defined, that if we replace any of the input by an equal input, it does not affect the result of the operation. So it's that one. And there, if you remember, we have proved that addition is well defined. So now we have to look at multiplication and negation. So we start like this. We consider three rational numbers. Such that these two are equal. A prime by B prime. Thus, AB prime is equal to A prime B. We first want to show that if we perform this multiplication, then the result is the same as this one times C by D. And for this, we need to show equivalently, we need to show this AC by BD should be shown to be equal to A prime C divided by B prime D. Equivalently, this means we have to show that AC B prime D is equal to A prime C B D. And this last equation, or this last requirement, in fact this is the requirement that we have. This last requirement follows from this equation AB prime equal to A prime B. How? You multiply on both sides by CD and you have this. So having this means having this, which in turn means having this, and that's what we want to show. Next, we want to show that equal rational numbers have equal negations. Minus A by B is equal to minus A prime by B prime. That is, minus of A by B is equal to minus of A prime by B prime. That is, minus of A times B prime is to be shown to be equal to minus of A prime times B. From A B prime equal to A prime B, we have minus of A times B prime equal to minus of A B prime. So this is equal to minus A prime B, and that is equal to minus of A prime times B. So that just gives us what we want. And in writing these calculations, we have used all the properties in the system of integers that are already available to us, and we have already mentioned that in doing so we are not going to say anything explicitly. Okay, so that's it. And similarly, if one replaces this C by D with an equal rational number, one can similarly show that the calculations are not affected. One can similarly replace C by D with an equal rational number. Without affecting multiplication and negation. So that completes the remaining things in the proof of lemma 4 to 3. Then the third one. Okay, prove the remaining components of proposition 4 to 4. Hint, as with proposition 416, so it's that laws of algebra. Proposition 416, you can save some work. By using some identities to prove the others. So what I remember from the incomplete proof of this proposition 4 to 4, there we have only proved the associativity of addition. All the other things we have to prove. Okay. So since we are going to need 3 rational numbers, so we can start by considering them. Let x equal to a by b, y equal to c by d, and z equal to e by f be rational numbers, where we are not writing that a, b, c, d, e, f these are integers and b, d and f are non-zero, that those things are understood. So the first one is the identity that addition is commutative. X plus y should be shown to be equal to y plus x. So we directly calculate x plus y. We have x plus y equal to a by b plus c by d, and that is equal to AD plus BC by BD, and you can see that this is in turn equal to, let me write the sum here first, that way I will be able to figure out what to write. CB plus DA by dB, and we have been able to write this expression involving integers like this because multiplication of integers is commutative and so is addition, and this is equal to c by d plus a by b, so this is equal to y plus x. Okay, now what about the other identities involving addition? In some of them we have to actually prove 2 equations. Because of this commutativity of addition, we can now it's sufficient to prove only one of them because the other will follow. For example, if we prove x plus 0 equal to x, that will automatically imply that 0 plus x is also equal to x. Now it's enough to prove that x plus 0 is equal to x and x plus minus x is equal to 0. So that's what we are going to do precisely now. We have x plus 0 equal to a by b. Recall what this rational number 0 means. It means this rational number. Then you apply the definition of addition. A times 1 plus b times 0 by b times 1. So this gives us again a by b, so this is equal to x, and x plus minus x. X is a by b minus x. The way we have defined negation is this rational number minus a by b. So if we perform the, I won't have space here, I think. Let me continue from that part. So this is equal to a times b plus b times minus a. By b times b. So this gives us 0 divided by b. We can write square, and that is equal to, we can write square because we already have exponentiation. Okay, exponentiation we have for natural numbers, we have for integers we haven't really defined exponential. Okay, let me keep it like bb, and that is equal to 0. If you are wondering how can 0 be simultaneously 0 by 1 and at the same time 0 by bb, you try to see that these two rational numbers are actually equal, and that is because 0 times this one is equal to 1 times 0. So they are equal rational numbers, two different representations of the same rational number actually. So this is equal to 0. So we are really getting x plus minus x equal to 0. Okay, so we are done with showing all the identities involving only addition. Next, we show that multiplication is commutative. Multiplication, its definition is easier than that of addition. So this is a by b times c by d, and that by definition is ac by bt. Since multiplication of integers is commutative, this can be written as ca divided by db, and that is c by d times a by b, and that is equal to yx. So now the identities which involve multiplication and which are like this, which talk about two different identities actually, we can now prove only one of them in each such case, and the other will automatically follow from this commutativity of multiplication. So it's enough to show that x times 1 is equal to x, and not just that, but the other, that thing also can be shown, no? This is equal to x times y plus z is equal to xy plus xz, and x times x inverse is equal to 1 when x is not equal to 0. This condition should not be forgotten. when talking about multiplicative inverses. Okay, so let us calculate these things one by one. We have x1 equal to a by b times 1 by 1. So this is pretty straightforward. A times 1 by b times 1, that is equal to, all of them are in fact. This one is a little bit complicated because of the presence of addition. X times y plus z is equal to a by b times y plus z. We can calculate, we can directly calculate from here. Cf plus de by df. If you find it difficult to understand how this is coming, you can write these expressions first. You write one more step and then you can do the calculation. And this becomes then, by the definition of multiplication, equal to ACF plus ADE by BDF. Okay, now this rational number is actually equal to also this rational number, ABCF plus ADEB by BDBF. It seems that we have multiplied both the first component and the second component by an extra b. In fact, that's what we have done. But the question is that justified? That is the question. You see, for this to be justified, this times this, okay, should be equal to this times this. Now if we take this times this, then what do we get? Let us just see quickly, because it is somewhat long, no? This times BDBF should be equal to this times this one, ABCF plus ADEB times BDF. And that in fact is true, because here what you can do, you can multiply by b, apply the right distributive law that is available in the system of integers. Doing that will give you this ABCF plus ADEB, and outside we will be left with DBF, that is BDF. So yes, this is justified, and that's why these two rational numbers are equal. Okay, now if you note carefully, this is equal to what we will have from this equation is that it will turn out to be equal to xy plus xz. Now xy is AC divided by BD and xz is AE divided by BF. AC divided by BD plus AE divided by BF. Do we get this when we perform this addition? Let us see. AC times the first